Well, that didn't go to plan, did it? It's a very unfortunate welcome back to the Champions League for Chelsea. And, I have to put my hands up and say, fair play Bayern Munich. I think they fully deserve that win because they were efficient. I think Chelsea looked bright for many parts of the game, but eventually they ran out of steam because I believe this team is still young, they're still a lot more naive. With Bayern Munich, they were just able to contain everything that Chelsea were sending their way. And then in the end, capitalize on whatever chances they had. And look, there were a lot of stuff with just self-inflicted errors that Chelsea had made, which was the third goal. That one was like the nail in the coffin for me, and that just took away any hope that I had that Chelsea were going to come back because I thought that maybe this game was going to end up in a draw. Well, it did not. I think tactically, Chelsea were very well set up. Enzo Maresca had used very similar tactics as he did in the Club World Cup final. Except this time, I think Bayern Munich knew what they had to expect. And also, I don't think Chelsea were clinical enough. There were so many chances where it was just like that final pass they messed up. I saw it with Pedro Neto. Cole Palmer on the right, sometimes he works, sometimes he doesn't. Today he was Chelsea's best player, like most other days. But even on the right hand side, he can still be threatening. But I don't feel he was utilized to his full potential. I alluded to this point a lot in previous videos where I said Chelsea will struggle this season because of their defense. I think with Levi Colwill out, Tosin and Chalobah is not a centre back partnership that is really going to bring Chelsea to the next level. I think Chelsea just stay where they are. Overall, I think if they played decently, but just simple basic errors due to a lapse in concentration, that's what cost Chelsea. With the first goal, yes, okay, certain things like this can happen. Where Trevor Chalobah, he put it into his own net. Sure, that is a one-off instance, but still, normally he should be clearing that. With the second one, Caicedo getting in Harry Kane's way, and that was again because they gave the ball away. So a penalty was conceded, and Harry Kane being the clinical striker he is, just put it into the back of the net. Well, yeah, and the third one, Malagusto. Like I saw Robert Sanchez fuming at him, and rightly so. If I were a goalkeeper and I saw my defender doing that and we concede because of it, I am going to be fuming at him. And I think a lot of the Chelsea fan base were fuming at him, even though he had a decent game. But sometimes there are just these lapses in concentration where it just costs him. To be fair to Robert Sanchez today, he pulled off some absolute worldies. This guy turned into Spider-Man at one point of the game. Top quality saves. I don't think I can really fault him for anything that went down today defensively. I think it was really down to losing that midfield battle because I don't think Reece James is a midfielder, even though he can play there and he can pull off a job. That's not really his strong suit. And then Enzo in a 10 is also not that great. He's normally a good box to box, but usually you need someone a bit more creative like Cole Palmer or Estavao in that 10 position. And we saw it a bit more when Estavao came on, and even though it was for 10 minutes that he played, you could argue that he should have started the game because of his creative ability and how threatening he is to the goal. With Enzo Fernandez, I don't really see much threat. It's just good box to box work that I can see with Enzo Fernandez. He did not play well in the last game, but he did come out looking better at the end of this game. But yeah, after all of that went down, Cole Palmer, brilliant goal. Cole Palmer again, like I said, Cole Palmer is just Cole Palmer. He's just brilliant. He brought Chelsea back into the game at 2-1. There was a fighting chance. Chelsea went into halftime 2-1 down. I was thinking, okay, you know what? If they come up for the second half with fire in their eyes, they can definitely come back into the game. They can definitely get level. They could possibly even win the game. But Bayern Munich, today was a testament to German efficiency. They weren't playing fantastic, blockbuster. They weren't that bombastic in terms of the way that they play and in terms of how Bayern Munich play. They were just disciplined, clinical, and very, very organized. All of that just brought together the strong points of Bayern Munich, and that's what makes them a top side. With Chelsea, there's still a lot more development that is needed for players and even for manager. I think Maresca should have started off with a different lineup, although I can understand why he chose that lineup. But I think he also should have brought on some subs earlier because we could see by minute 65 that legs were starting to go. They were losing steam. We just did not see Maresca do much. It was his changes, I believe, came a bit too late. And yeah, like he brought on Garnacho, who was okay. He was sticking out like a sore thumb to me because it just looked like he was completely out of place. But eventually he grew into the game and then, he started threatening the goal a bit. But he was much like the rest of the Chelsea team, just great until he gets to the goal. And then when it's time to shoot, it's just meh. I think there were some positives to take from this game in terms of the way Chelsea had really organized themselves, in terms of the way they played, but just being clinical, taking their chances. That's really where I felt Chelsea lost it, and also the midfield battle because they were getting done over in midfield. Even though Caicedo played great, I still felt Enzo Fernandez, who is supposed to be the link between the midfield and the forward line, I don't think he can do that role well. But look, it's still match day one of the Champions League. We still have the rest of the league phase to play. But now, what Chelsea should do is go and beat Man United on Saturday. There's no excuse for that. I thought Amorim was going to get fired because there were signs that there was news coming out that he could be fired. And, it would just be the most classic Manchester United Chelsea thing to happen. It's happened with their last two managers where they got sacked just a week before playing Chelsea. I thought the same was going to happen again, but no, we could get Ruben Amorim managing Manchester United against Chelsea. And if he is there, great, because Manchester United have looked dreadful. Chelsea have to capitalize on this. They have to take their chances, turn into great white sharks, smell blood, go there and pick up 3 points. Today was not a disaster, but today taught us many lessons that, the squad isn't as great as many people think it is. And I think it's important to be realistic, which is why I said Chelsea can realistically finish fourth. Because if you are challenging for trophies like the Premier League or the Champions League, being competitive against top teams, you don't let things go so easily like this. So many self-inflicted errors, and it was just naive. So of course, there's no reason to panic just yet. It's still the start of the season. I think Chelsea still have room for improvement and they will improve. But that improvement starts by beating Manchester United on Saturday. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I am quite tired because it's pretty late at night and I want to do this video stuff. So, it's fun. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments and I'll see you next time.